No swearing, please. Okay, welcome everybody. This is September the 10th, 2017. This is Contrib2Core virtual. And we have on the call today, we have Steve and we have Uzo. Is that correct? Did I say that correct?
Uzo, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm here from September 11th, the future. So hey.
Oh well, that's even better. Sorry, guys. Yep, September the 11th. I'll have to change the title on the session. So what we're going to try to do today is go through what you need to do in order to contribute to a WordPress to the WordPress open source project. The procedures and the way. This is one way of doing it. There are a couple of other ways around, but this is a known workflow that will get you there. So we're going to do that. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen so that you can see what I'm looking at, and then I can talk to it. So let's talk about what we're trying to do. We're trying to add code to a WordPress install so that it improves the open source, and all of the WordPress changes are managed by Track, which is the management software which is used for that. And if I come to Track, where's to get the root of Track? Oh, I don't know. Let's bring this up. Root core, and the URL for that is core.track.wordpress. And where is the unit test for that? What's the actual track? Tickets. Let's get you into that. I'll just do tickets. Well, I can't work out how to read it. Oh, well, I'm confused. Yeah, tickets and numbers. Okay, so here is a ticket, and you come down here, and there is reviews. Core committer actually push this to live. Okay, this is a patch that I put in 18 months ago, and basically I delivered a patch here. And if I open that in a new tab, you can see this is the change that I put in, proposed. We deleted some stuff here. Oh, it's this ticket, is it? So this ticket is a change in WP includes general template. And so this is an old file. And if we come down and actually have a look at the change set. So what happened is I found some code that was old and not used. And if you have a look in here, it says set this to naught. Yeah. If this is not true, which is never true because that's naught, do this. Yeah. And the defaults were set above, and so they will always run. Yeah.
Sorry, Paul, just one note. Would you be able to post the link that you're looking at right now in the chat?
Yep. Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yep. Did you get it? Yep.
Yep, I got it.
Yep. So this is the patch that this is, you know, the pink is what I removed from this patch. Okay. And I was just wandering around. I was looking at some other code, and I fell across this. Now let's go back to here. So I submitted this patch, made a comment, submitted it up, and then Sergey came in and had looked at it and said, "Oh yes, I'll do that." So what he did is he created his own version of this, okay, and he changed it subtly in order to do it the way he wanted to. But basically, this is actually what got changed in core, and I'll give you the patch on that as well in the link. So this is the actual change that was made, and essentially, instead of having the format passed in, we're passing in the option dates directly into it now. So he just tidied up additional amounts. Now, the interesting thing here is, let's go back to here to his comment. Okay. He referenced some other change sets. So he went and worked out when this code was actually added to WordPress. Patch number 24. Change set number 24 in WordPress. So this was committed by Matt, Matt, yeah? When it was B2, not even called WordPress yet. So this is when this code was added into WordPress. Yeah. So, and 14 years ago. So I deleted some code that's been in WordPress for 14 years and never ran. So there's easy stuff in WordPress that you can still go and do. It isn't rocket science. This is kind of what I'm trying to say at this point, is this isn't rocket science. The change is not big, yeah? But doing that means that when you open up a WordPress install, I'm just going to open up one here. So you open up WordPress, you come up to About WordPress at the top right-hand corner, you go to Credits, yeah, and you scroll down, and this list of people here are the people who made changes in this version. And if I do that, there I am, yeah? And away you go, and that's how you get your name in here, by just making that small change. So it's not difficult, and it's doable. So how do you do that? Yeah. So one last thing before we get out of track is, the hardest thing is people find is trying to find something to fix. And there is tickets, good first bugs. I'll put it in the chat for you. These are effectively blessed changes. So somebody in core has said, okay, this is a small bug. I can't be bothered to do it at the moment. Let's just create a ticket and throw it into the ticket, into patch. And these are easy bugs. So if you're looking for something to do, here's a good place for you to start looking at. Okay. So as you noticed that I fired up a local, I went to www.dev. And this is a local install of WordPress. Well, it's got a few WordPress. This is a Vagrant box. And this is what I recommend as the way to do local development. Well, you have to do local development because you can't run WordPress in the correct mode on a remote server to do the development work we need to do. And I recommend WordPress www. And I will show you how to do that install in a minute. But in case you want to use something else, make WordPress.core handbook tutorials. I'll put that in the chat as well. There are a few choices down here. We're going to use the www version. And there's the various instructions. So you can follow the instructions here. And away you go, and you get that working. The way you do this is you need to install 3 pieces of software, sorry. Okay. So you need to install VirtualBox. Now, VirtualBox is a virtualization platform, and basically it puts a machine in. It creates a machine, a standardized machine in software running on top of your hardware. So you can run complete operating systems on this virtualized machine. So you pick your distribution, and then you do need to install the extension pack. So you need to pick one of these and just run the installers, and they will come down. So you can just run that. Then what we need to do is we need to install Vagrant. Now, Vagrant is a command line manager for VirtualBox or for virtualization. It supports more than just VirtualBox, but we're using it for VirtualBox. And there's a version 2. I don't know what difference that is. You just need to install that. Okay. And then we're going to install VVV, Variant Vagrants. And I will give you a link to that. Let me give you a link to all 3 of these so that you've got them in the chat. So if you're having to look for them later. And what VVV is a command line interface that configures the install. So if we have a look at this file, if I just open this in a new tab, this is the command line. If you look at it, it's issuing commands, and it is building using instructions to Vagrant. It will build a VirtualBox with all the configuration and all the various bits and pieces that you need. Notice that it supports Parallels if you want to do it. You can use VMware Fusion if you want to do it, or you can use Hyper-V as well. There are some issues with Hyper-V. I'm not sure it's good, but you've got choices here. But the standard out of the box version is VirtualBox and VVV. So it builds all this stuff, does all this long script, saves a lot of typing, and when you have finished, you end up with, well, not quite this, because I have an additional piece of software on here for the dashboard. Is the configuration for the dashboard here? There. So I also installed this software on top. So this is just a prettified version dashboard control panel for VVV. The instructions to how to install it. This is, you get all of this mail catcher, all this stuff's installed in the wiki. The instructions are here. You just follow the instructions down, and it all works. Any questions? Nope, no, everyone's shaking their head. So good. So we're going to assume you've got this done, and you can work along behind that. So when you've done this, what you end up with is a folder that looks like this. All right. And you basically, you need to run a command line in here. And let me find the right folder. So what you do is, trick. If you're a Windows user, this is an important trick. Right mouse, get bash here. Now get bash, git bash comes when you install get onto your Windows machine. I have Tortoise get here. I also have SCN Tortoise or Tortoise SVN, we will need this to make some repos and things. So these are just add-ons to my Explorer. If you've got, if you want a Mac, then you can just run bash directly from your shell command. But essentially, you need to have a command window. And I'm just going to suspend this for a second. And so you get a command line, and you basically, you just come into here and you will type a command, vagrant up. And the first time you run this, it will download all the software it needs. It will create the virtual machine. And I'm just going to do an up. So I've got a suspended hibernated state. The commands you need to know are vagrant up, which will start it. There is a command called vagrant provision that will, if you've got an existing box, you can run vagrant provision and it will reconfigure, rebuild your box from the ground up. Vagrant halt will stop it, effectively turn the box off. Vagrant destroy will completely wipe the box out and you have to start from scratch. And vagrant up, initially, when you first run it, if it hasn't been provisioned, it will provision it. All right. So I've also got vagrant host updater in here. There's a couple of helper plugins to Vagrant, and I will just show you what those are just to make your life easier. If I've got the command right. Yeah. So I've got a couple of things installed. The instructions are in the instruction. I got host manager, share comes by default, and vagrant triggers. Vagrant triggers allows you to execute code inside of the install as part of the scripting. The host updater, which is not always listed as a add-on, what this does is, if you remember in the downloads, I said download the extension pack. Okay, the extension pack is versioned along with the build, and your Vagrant VVV will come with the box that comes downloaded has an extension in it, but it may not be the same version as your virtual box. And what this plugin to Vagrant does is it keeps them in sync. Yeah, it finds out which version it is and keeps them in sync. And the host manager allows you to set up the configuration. I think I got that right. I may have got that wrong, but that's the basic principle of it. So now we have got a virtual box. This is what you get. This is the build, and we're interested in the source dev build. So these two builds are actually actually part of the same configuration, and this is not working because I haven't actually run the grunt, the build on it. So if we come into here, into here, so WordPress develop. So you can ignore the other stuff in here at the moment because these are the other default files. So this is where the dashboard and the dashboard admin's in here. So to install the dashboard admin, you download the repo, you copy this file up into the default folder. So just copy it into there, and then this becomes the dashboard by default. So if I tell you what, let me just show you. Remove that for a second, come across to here, spin this. It's broken. Okay, so that got some stuff in there, where was I? Yeah. So VVV. So this is an install of WordPress in this folder here. Okay. So this is not your normal build. This is not what you would expect to see for an install of WordPress. What you normally would see is this source file. But even this is not standard because this has got uncompressed files in it. If you come into the CSS in here, these are not compressed. Yeah. Yeah, what's the JS stuff? It might have the mini files in there. So some of it's not compressed. So this is the source of WordPress. Okay. And these are where the tests for WordPress are. Unit testing for WordPress, and there's a grunt file in here. If you run the grunt file, what it will do is it will create a build in here, and this is what gets zipped up and is sent to you. Yeah. So this is why you have to have this special build of WordPress, because when you send a patch in, yeah, if I go up here and I go SVN, create a patch. It's searching. You have to make it at this route, at this level in the config, because you need the tests and the source to be part of your build. So this is a build system for WordPress. So we're going to do a patch. So let me see. Let me go out of here, and I think go back to good first bugs. So there's a patch here. Needs patch. So we do this one. I'm not going to do that. This is doable. This is a bit of CSS changing, but I'm going to avoid it. Is there anything else that looks obvious in here that's... there was a text change, wasn't there? All right. Okay, so there's a patch. Okay, we can do this. The problem is if I submit this, I will get shouted at. So one of you guys are going to have to submit this, and I think this is Steve. Yeah? Oh dear me, Steve, he says, because I know you're all set up. Yeah. So are you up to sharing your screen and letting me talk you through this? You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I've never shared my screen. I guess it's pretty simple.
On the right-hand side, there's a square shared screen.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to let you share your screen.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and talk you through this.
All right.
Basically, the reason why I'm not doing this is because last time I did this, I got a very snotty email from some core developers saying, Paul, you know better than picking off an easy bug. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah. So I need you to open up your local build, your developer's build,
okay.
and build and open up. We are looking for switch to blog. And I'm going to bring up my version as well so that I can see it. So if you go into develop source go into the source file and
Inside
what
here.
you use. Yep, and to blog. Where's the function? Is that cache? Which file is that? Inline docs. Function 65. It's in cache PHP. WP includes cache PHP. Source WP includes cache PHP.
Say WP includes cache. Cache.php, yeah. So here. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And switch to blog.
Sorry.
I can't find. And the function is called switch to blog.
Oh, okay.
And inline docs, the switch will include this. Well, I don't see that.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not finding it.
Let's read this link again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and search. I'm going to search for the patch number. Yeah, it's there. Oh, it's in MS Blogs.
MS Blogs, okay.
There's two of them. Yeah, that's a,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, switch to blog, okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes. I think we just delete it.
Okay.
Let's just read some statement that autoload options aren't switched or added in docs and suggested in. However, it was later closed as work for me, having perhaps been a pixel file and other changes. The autoload. Okay, so what we should do is we can delete the auto load options. It's a safe delete. But let's go and have a look at the tickets for the other ticket that there's mentioned in there. So the instruction fix, yeah, is delete the one line. Dynamically and unloading of plugins. Ensure. Okay. All right. Resolution. Okay, so Jeremy Felt, who's one of the core committers, is basically saying, we ain't doing this. So if you look at the 779, line 779,
okay.
Plugins are not switched, basically. And so the command, the change is delete 778. So delete the line 778.
Okay.
All right. All right. Done. That's the code change.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. All right. So now we need to create a patch. Okay. Do you have SVN installed?
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Oh, good. So you're going to create an SVN patch.
Okay.
And so basically you need to come back to the root of the folder and in your command line or user interface, yeah,
okay,
you're going to do create patch. So SVN, yep. So where are you? You want to be in the WordPress dev folder.
Okay.
You want to be all the way back down to WordPress dev, not default. that looks like you're in the WordPress default folder.
Yeah, so I gotta go one up.
You should have been. Yeah, you should. So you made your changes in the you were in the dev folder to start with.
Yeah. Yes, I was.
Yeah. So www, list that, and there will be a WordPress developer. So go into WordPress developer.
Develop.
And SVN. Yep, this is where you do it. Oh no, actually go into the public HTML folder. Sorry.
Okay.
They changed it a little bit since the version.
Yeah.
This is version 2. So at this level. Yeah, this is the list this to make sure you're in the root of the SVN. So SVN create patch, I'm not sure because I don't use the command line.
Okay.
Let's see. Get a bash folder here. SVN create patch. Unknown.
Is it just SVN patch?
Could be. Not enough arguments required. SVN help patch. Let's try help. It requires patch. Apply a patch to working copy. Usage patch file. No. I need a. Anybody got a quick typing of SVN -- help? Where's Google? SVN create patch.
Well, I found this that I posted in the chat. I'm not sure if that's what we're looking for.
It probably is. It's a diff. So you do a diff and you get your patch. So SVN diff greater than arrow to pipe it out to a file.
Okay.
And you want it, you might as well stick it into the root or down one. So you just have it somewhere. So dot down and give it the name of the ticket. Okay,
and what would that be?
41815.
815.
Dot patch.
Okay, does that look good to you?
Yep, try that.
Okay.
And then we're going to have a look at it and see. We'll open it up because it's a text file, so we can open it up and see what's inside it. And it should just have a minus and a plus in it.
Okay, so that's done. And
yeah, you'll need to use your. Oh yeah, it's in the root. It's in your folder there. So if you just collapse up.
Source.
No, public HTML. It's in the root there.
Okay.
Collapse that. And well, wherever you put it. Try Explorer. So you did dot.
I think it's in the public HTML.
Yep. Well done.
Yes, there it is, right there.
There it is. Okay, open it up. There you are. There's the changes.
Okay.
Okay, that's correct. That looks good to me. Okay, so now we've got that. Now we go to the ticket, and I'll put the ticket in the chat for you.
Okay.
Right. So you go to your ticket, and I'm going to. You're going to have to log in to WordPress.
Right.
So
okay.
If you have another screen, log in on the other screen, or hide for seconds. I'll watch this ticket.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I am
You're in. Okay,
logged
so
in. Yep.
scroll down a little bit. There says attach your file.
Yep.
Click. Choose your file.
Okay.
This is hard, isn't it? This is so hard.
All right. Where? Websites. That's where it is. Develop. HTML.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
And should I put anything in
optional?
The? Okay.
Line removed.
Okay.
Yep. Agree and upload. And go back to your ticket at the top.
Here.
Yep. It'll open back up. You'll now see that file's attached to it. So now put some nice words in. Here you go, guys. Whatever you want to put in the comment, just put a comment in.
Okay.
Here it is, and say created as part of my virtual Contrib2Core patch ticket, and give them a link to the meetup. There's some publicity.
Oh yeah. Okay. Sure. So what is it called?
Virtual Contrib2Core, and grab your meetup link.
Okay.
If you haven't got it, I can find it.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. And
do you want the link?
I think I got it here.
Yep.
Is that it there?
Yep, that'll do us. No. Oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, do it. That's the Hangout. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'll do the link to the meetup.
Okay.
Because I put it in the chat for you.
Okay.
Because that link will disappear, and what I'll do is I'll probably drop the video link, the YouTube video link in afterwards.
Okay.
Because I don't actually know what the do I know what the video link is? Do I know? Events. Do I know what the event? I don't know if I know what the link is. Yeah, I'm not sure I know what the link is going to be yet. So I can't just link it in. I'll stick it in the chat in there afterwards. So that's it. That's done. And what we need to do, we need to go down to the bottom now. We need to modify the ticket because now this has a bug. So we workflow keywords, blah blah blah. So select has patch.
Select what? Sorry. Has
no
patch.
In workflow keywords down a little bit. Yeah. Has patch.
Has patch.
Dev feedback. That's probably all it needs, is has patch probably.
Okay.
Yep. And submit that.
Okay.
And
submit,
congratulations, you will now get props for the next release of WordPress.
All right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. We were lucky to find something as trivial.
Yeah.
But the same principle applies to anything. A lot of times the patches are small incremental changes. Other times they are huge and they take months to get committed in. So that's that. Wow, that didn't take us too long.
No, a lot simpler than I thought.
So the other two guys on the call, do you have you got anything set up? Can we go and try and do one for you? Anybody else fancies having a go? Shall we?
I haven't got anything set up yet. Just my first foray into Contrib2Core. So pretty much all I wanted to achieve tonight is see what it was about.
Yeah. Well, that was essentially the thing, and this session, if we get a number of people who are active in the session, we will not necessarily just do the beginner stuff like we have tonight. We can go on and we can work on more advanced stuff.
Well, that's fine. I mean, got to start somewhere. It was good for me tonight.
Yep.
I'm fine there.
So one of the things I was going to do next is that quite often what we do is we look at unit tests. So so we're going to move on now to something that, good first bugs are often a good place to find the first bug, but they're already taken, and the fact that sometimes they're really trivial or they're just pain to do. So let's go and look at something that you could do as a project rather than just an odd thing. So I'm going to share my screen again, and I'm going to start looking at stuff. So we're back in this folder again, and I want to wander into this wonderful thing called PHP unit here. All right. And in here, there are the tests. So WordPress has unit tests built in. And you can run those unit tests from the command line. Let me go and find a plugin. Yep. Not that one. So if you bring up your bash shell like this, and you can type in here vagrant SSH, right? And that will tunnel you into your vagrant install. So you've actually tunneled in. So now I'm running commands inside my virtual machine. And we got to, no. So we want WordPress. So what I'm doing now is I'm just tunneling up in the path to the public HTML folder. Okay, so just going into the public HTML folder, and I'm going to run a command called PHP unit. Perhaps with not too many typos. And this is running all of the unit tests for WordPress. Excuse me while I take a sip. And off it goes. And I'm just going to move that out the way because so that's running all of these tests. But we don't have 100% coverage. There are lots of spaces where there are functions that we don't have tests for. Yeah, so we can write tests, and we can we can test things. And the place that I would suggest you start is in functions. In the functions. Now, the way this is structured is that each of these folders represents a class or a file. So if we come up to the source folder, go to includes, cancel, don't do that, come down here and we go and look at functions. Okay, so the functions file, which is the original core functions file for WordPress, same as in the themes, you have a functions file. Same as in the plugins, you probably have functions files. But this is the first functions file in WordPress, and there is lots of stuff in here. So response of yeah. Let's test that. Right. So I've just picked a random function out of here because there are not that many functions in here have tests. And we come back into the functions folder. Well, first of all, I'm just going to test all. I'm just going to do a quick search and say, is this function in here? No. This function has not got a unit tests. So we're going to write a test for this function. So I'm going to come in here because I'm lazy. I'm going to just look at no.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
Sorry, before you go forward, is it possible for us to take a quick look at a function that does have unit tests, just out of curiosity?
Yep, we can do that. We've got some stuff in here. Yeah, I'll use this one. Okay, so this is a maybe decline date. So I'm actually just going to copy this because I want the function file, and so I'm just naming it this way. So we're just making it over there, so it's good. Not okay. So maybe decline date. Yeah, and setup. Where's the actual function call? All right, so just bear with me a second. I'm just going to copy a couple of things that I know I'm going to need. Save me having to come back in a second. So okay, so here's that function. Okay, maybe decline date, and there's I don't know what it does without looking at it in depth, but here is the functions. Oh, I remember this. I think I actually wrote some of this stuff. So this is oh yes, I remember this. This is multi-language stuff. Okay, so there are some rules around multi-language stuff that change that give genitive text for the months, and basically there is this stack of things. So the months that go February, March. These are the genitive versions of these ones. These are the genitive versions. So if you are, I don't know what language CA is, HR, Hebrew, I don't know. So Russian, Polish, don't know which HR is. Kazakhstan. So basically there's some non-standard variants of the languages. So when you switch locale, you get different. You have to have different functions. Does that make sense to you? Did you understand that?
Yep. Different locales have different month setups, and this is the mapping.
Yeah, well, this is the test for it, and it basically uses this, and it actually gets the translation. If you ever follow this through to the locale, that comes out of a translation file. There's a translation file that has these definitives in it, and what this is doing is testing whether the translation files are correct, actually. But that's so. Let's go back to here. We're going to delete all of this stuff because we don't want any of this stuff here, because we're just getting rid of it. And right. So if you look at the naming convention here, the naming convention has to be this way, right? So we have a class, so it's capitalization, yeah, and it inherits the WP unit tests. And this is what we're going to test. Okay. No setup on the required. What's this one doing? Check all off. Response. So we get a response in, is logged in an ELP, and empty log grace period. Okay. So this is a security plugin function, and let's just run it and see what we get back. We've got, so we need to create some functions inside here to actually run these. And they need to be called test. Otherwise, they don't run. Basically, the test will run. Where is that? Oh. Okay. So let's just do basic search equals on it. And we want that to be so I'm reading the code as I'm going. Right, so that's an array. Yeah, pass an array into that, we'll get an array back, and expected. Does that look right to you guys? When I pass in an empty array, it's going to set it. And the user's not going to be logged in, so it's going to fail. All right, let's go back to here. And PHP unit dash. So you can run a specific unit test filter by passing in the name of the check onto a filter parameter. You can actually run a file specifically, so I could have done unit tests. Did I just crash this? Right, yes. Oh, see the obvious mistake? That passed. Okay, we have a successful running test. Okay, everybody nod your head. And so that passes. So now we got to be a bit more creative about yeah, user not logged on, not logged in. So now we need to write some tests where we're going to log in. Now I'm going to have to look this up because I cannot remember. WordPress unit tests logged in user. Right. Right. So each test you want to be a separate function so that they are easy enough to run. And so we'll just do the log user in. Right. And we only have one user because this is the test environment. So we'll log in user one, which will be admin. There's always a user one on a WordPress install. Even WordPress.com has a user one. It's a honeypot if you ever want to do it. So I'm just going to do that. Now this will fail if I've got this right. Yeah. So I'm going to run this again and we're going to see what happens. It failed. Okay. So that was actually what I expected to happen. I want that to be true. Yeah. So I'm now going to run this again and make sure. This is what I like about unit tests, is you can actually see the things work and fail, and you can make sure they do. Now, there's also a parameter in here about the globals. Yeah. And I have no idea when that is set, and it is empty. So we can set it globally. So I'm going to go and have a look into Core and see where that is set. So So that's your functions, global and let's open that file up. It's pluggable. It's globals, and it's globals a grace period set above. Yeah. And I think this will fail. Logged in. And what is this comments about this one? Is grace period set above, grace period explanation. Hey, let's run that unit test. We'll run the 3 unit tests. And let's see what they are doing. It failed. We got false back, and that's kind of what I was expecting to happen. Yeah. Guys, have a quick look at this function. Can you see any other tests that we can do? Where is it actually called? So it's used in 3 filters. Okay. On the heartbeat send. So it's just used on the heartbeat sends to make sure that the heartbeats are still valid. Okay, I think that's the patch. We just need to put some more stuff on here just to comment it up a little bit, and we're going to submit that as a patch. Group.
Hey, Paul.
Yep.
I've seen in the past places where they actually they do some sanity checks if the function exists. Is this a function where we'll need to do a sanity check if a user logged in exists before? I'm just curious.
No. No, because the function is part of functions, so it's always there. If WordPress is there, this is just files loading, pluggable file or anything. Yeah, check whether the user's still logged in. Yeah, this is just right. So nice and pretty. Full stops, capital R's, and all right. You got a line in at the end. That's good. This looks pretty. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Get rid of that. Okay. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go in here and go SVN create patch. I haven't got a ticket. I'm in the wrong place. That's why. Why haven't I got that? No, public HTML. Add. All right, so there's the patch I want to create. And yeah, I'm happy to make it there. Actually, I'll make it on one more level. Make it that level. Okay, and there's the patch. It's a new file, so it's straightforward, existing ones. So now let's go up to core and create a new ticket. Summary unit tests for what was that function called? Hi all, just some unit tests for PHP. Just unit tests. Just some unit tests for the. I don't need much more than that. This is actually an enhancement version trunk. I haven't tested anything else. Components. We have unit tests in here. This is actually a login. Yeah, it might be in there. I have files. Let's have a look at this one. Let's just for the function that's on it. Right, we'll create the ticket. Choose the file. Code. Let's just get this out of the way a second. So I've got stuff in here I want you to see. Add the patch. Unit. And mission, please. Done. All right. And we'll watch this ticket. That was it.
Awesome.
So that's all there is to it. And unit tests are quite nice because you can always find unit tests to do. I have a pet project that I have suggested to, as if we want to do stuff as a group, just working through the functions file, making unit tests for that. Yeah, that has 5% coverage. And it's the core function. It's just backfilling the unit tests.
This is awesome. I got to see a lot and learn a lot. I'm honestly the most surprising thing for me was the dependency on SVN. That caught me off guard. I didn't see that coming. But
yeah, it's old. They are trying to wean off SVN, but all the workflow and all of the after stuff is just still SVN. So it's, I don't know, maybe a couple of years and we'll get off SVN and it'll be a Get project. It'll be on Git. There is a proper repo. They keep talking about it being in sync and taking pull requests and issues over there. but it's such a big change of workflow. It's painful, really painful for their internal systems. Will all have to be rewritten.
Yeah.
And they're slowly chipping away at it, but it is, you know, you kind of don't want to mess it up.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for this. I got to see how to make a patch. I got to see how to run tests against things that against whatever patch I'm going to make, or this was a very enlightening experience. Thanks for your time, Paul. This is fantastic.
Absolutely no problem at all. Maybe see you next month. Invite your friends, all those types of things. Reach out to me if you have any issues. And we'll go for it. And yeah.
Awesome. I got a ticket to WordCamp, so I'll probably bump into you there.
Yeah, I'll be there. We will be doing a Contrib2Core there, so come bring your stuff.
Awesome.
You're now an expert.
I wish. Well, thank you so much. This is great.
And with that, I'm going to wrap this session. So I hope everyone found that useful. If you do, put the likes in the comments, because this is now a YouTube video. And say hi and come and visit us next time. You'll find the meetups are on the WordPress Toronto meetup group. The links, the descriptions are there, and also on the Ottawa meetup group. Or if you put a comment in the bottom of this video, I'll send you a link direct if you want to join us otherwise. So bye from me. Bye-bye.